Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys intimated regarding today TCS Codevita, right? So we'll discuss some problems on TCS Codevita. Okay, guys, we'll start our session now. My name is Sen Prakash. Currently, I'm working at FaceWeb as a technical trainer. Hope I'm audible, right? Okay, guys. Still many others are joining. We'll start our session. Now we'll discuss one question which is given in previous TCS Codevita. Now, home lighting question. What is home lighting question? We'll read the problem statement and we try to solve here itself. Suppose the problem statement is you are moving to a new company. Sorry, you are moving to a new apartment and want to plan your total lighting cost. You want to plan your total lighting cost, right? So for the next 2 years, you want to plan total lighting cost. So it includes the cost of the bulb. How much the cost of the bulb, right? And cost of electricity consumption. So they mentioned that there are three types of bulbs. So what are the three types of bulbs? We can see here, right? So the bulbs are available in the market are one is regular bulbs, right? Which cost C1 and has a warranty of M1 hours and have a running cost of R1 per hour, R1 rupees per hour. Now there are one more type of bulb, CFL bulbs, which cost C2 and warranty M2 hours and running cost is R2 rupees per hour. And there are one more type of bulb, LED bulbs, which cost C3 rupees and warranty of M3 and running cost of R3. Here they mention one more condition that cost 1 of bulb less than cost 2 of bulb 2, cost 2 of bulb 3. And at the same time they mentioned rate of the power consumption rate of R1 is greater than R2 is greater than R3. Now nothing can be said about M1. What is M1 here? Warranty. Nothing can be said. Warranty. Warranty may be 1 year, 6 months. They will give number of hours. Now what we have to do here? You have to plan for one bulb in kitchen. You need in kitchen one bulb. Every day you have to run H1 hours per day. You have to run every day H1 hours per day. And two bulbs per room across three rooms at H2 and H3 H4 hours per day and per room one bulb. Now after that one bulb for bathroom. There we need five bulbs. I will explain how it is going to work. And when you prepare your budget, you assume that it will last only till the warranty period. If I buy the bulb, suppose I want to use it 2 years, but maybe it will run, the warranty is given for 1.5 years. After 1.5 years, you need to use one more bulb of same type. Are you getting my point? So at that time you need two bulbs. At the time you need two bulbs to run for 2 years. Like that you have to understand. Now I'll explain, don't worry. First go through the problem statement. Give the above requirements. Come up with a bulb procurement plan that includes list covers over 2 years. The bulb should run over 2 years where cost includes procurement and running cost. So the bulb cost and running cost. In case if warranty expires, what we have to do? In your model assume that the bulb will need to be replaced. The bulb need to be replaced. Also assume that you will move out of after 2 years you have to move. So you are not concerned about stretching the life of bulbs. After 2 years it will run or won't run. You are not concerned about it. Just we have to run 2 years. So we know that every year we have 365 days. So don't take any leap years. Just take 365 days. Now what are the constraints given? We already discussed regarding cost and power consumption. Later you can see the cost of the bulb is maximum minimum 0 and maximum 1000. Vanity is maximum 30,000 hours and running cost is per hour maximum 150 rupees, and you can use bulbs per day maximum 24 hours. So they are explained in input format. Don't worry, I'll explain here. Everyone try to understand what they have given. So they are given three things here. What is first one is bulb cost. Bulb cost, there are three types of bulbs, right? Bulb cost, warranty, and we have one more thing, power consumption per hour. Power consumption per hour, how much, right? You have this doubt. Now here we have three types of bulbs. What are the three types of bulbs they mentioned? The bulbs mentioned are, you can see problem statement, LED bulbs, LED bulbs, and one more type bulb is CFL bulbs. So right here, regular bulbs, CFL bulbs, and LED bulbs. There are three types of bulbs. So the regular bulb cost is 50 rupees. So it will run warranty of 1500 hours, and per hour the power consumption is 16 rupees you have to pay if you use this bulb. Now second bulb cost is 100 rupees and the warranty is 8000 hours, and power consumption per hour is 14, and bulb cost is LED bulb cost is 400. It will run this warranty is 25,000, and power consumption per hour the rupees we have to pay is 1 rupee, right? So I can say running cost, you can write running cost, which is better suitable. This is our running cost. And what do you mean by, sir, these five values? These are, we know that there are five rooms. What are the five rooms? One is kitchen, right? For kitchen I need, so what are the three things they have mentioned? After that H1 H2 we can say in the problem statement. So we have a plan for one bulb in the kitchen at H1 hours per day. It is going to run H1 hours per day, means in kitchen, or else I'll remove this and paste somewhere else. Or else I can paste here itself. Now here the thing is, we have five rooms. So in kitchen I have to run H1 is for kitchen. So every day I have to run 1 hour. Or get your point, in kitchen the bulb will run every day 1 hour. After that they mention in the problem statement clearly that H2 is, suppose understand there are three more rooms, which is hall 1, H3 is hall 2, H4 is all 3. Here you can see clearly in problem statements. If you have any doubts, they mention that 2 bulbs per room. Here you can see 2 bulbs per room across 3 rooms at H2, H3 and H4. So across the rooms we have 2 bulbs. We have 2 bulbs, and how many hours we have to run every day? This is 2 hours, 8 hours and 14 hours, which is given in input, which is given in this input. And last H5 is for bathroom, which will run 2 hours every day. They have given for bathroom 1 bulb is required, and it has to run H5 hours per day. So take H5 bathroom. So it has to run 2 hours per day. Now what we have to find the plan for to run 2 years. So I have 2 years plan. In 2 years how many days are there? 1 year is 365 days. So number of days are, we know 365 is multiplied with 2. How much, guys? As you know, 730 days. The plan I need for 730 days, right? So let's understand manually what can you do. Let's understand manually. First try to understand the logic, later we'll write pseudocode. Suppose I would like to calculate only for kitchen, right? I would like to calculate only for kitchen. Right here. Okay, suppose only for kitchen, by using 3 types of bulbs I will calculate. So kitchen I will use bulb 1, bulb 2 and bulb 3, right? So what is the fixed cost for all 3 bulbs? The fixed cost given as 50, 100 and 400, right? So right, fixed cost, which is for 3 bulbs 50, 100 and 400, right? After that what we have to do? Let's calculate. Per hour how much I need to pay, rate per hour how much I need to pay for that bulb. So they mentioned that running cost is 16 14 1, right? 16 14 1. So per hour how much I need to pay? Running cost, bulb running cost is 16 14 and 1. And per hour how much I need to, the running cost, and how many hours it should turn on. So how many hours is to turn on, multiply. It should turn on for kitchen is every day 1 hour. So for kitchen H1 how many hours it should turn on, I'll write H1, which is 1 hour. If I use all 3 types of bulbs I'm checking. And how many days I have to run. One more thing is how many days. So directly write number of days. How many days I have to run? I need to run 730 days, right? 730 days. So if I calculate this, how much we are going to get? If I calculate this, how much we'll get? This cost me, the bulb one cost 11,730, and bulb 2 is cost almost 10,000, and bulb 3 cost I know it will cost 1130. 730 plus 400 is 1130, right? Now guys, we know which is less cost. So here I understood that by using bulb 3 it is minimizing the cost. So in these 3 types of bulbs I will use bulb 3. Why? Because in bulb 3 I am getting the cost which is very less for 2 years. For only for kitchen we have calculated only for kitchen. So same like that we have to calculate for remaining. So I'd like to calculate for one more. For suppose hall 1 I would like to calculate. So in hall 1 I may use bulb 1, bulb 2 or bulb 3. We'll do little fast. What is fixed cost? Fixed cost is same for all, right? 50, 100, 400 plus running cost. Running cost also same. Now after that where change comes. Now how many hours per day? So for H2 they mentioned, for H2 means hall 1 they mentioned 2 hours per day it is going, the bulb is going to run. So 2 hours per day into, after that how many days? 730 days. So if I calculate this, if you calculate this, we'll get, I know we'll get that as compared to these two bulbs, the bulb 3 will get 1860, right? 1400, 1460 plus 400 is 1860. Yes, exactly. Now as compared to these two bulbs, I know I'll get the less cost at bulb 3. And here they mention one more thing is how many bulbs we are going to use. So for here you can see that I'll remove here 2 bulbs per room across 3 rooms at H2, H3, H4. So we need 2 bulbs. So one more bulb is added. So multiply with 2. I need 2 bulbs in the hall 1. So how much it will cost? 3720. It will cost me 3720. Right? So for remaining you can do. For remaining hall 2 and hall 3 and for bathroom you guys can do in the same way. The change is only here running how, how many hours per day you want to run. So remain thing are change, only change here itself in this line. It's going to run 8 14 2, right? It's going to run every day 8 hours, it's going to run 14 hours, it's going to run 2 hours, remaining all are same. So remaining all are same. And calculate the result, which bulb giving for every room, which bulb cost me less. So sir, how we can write? So the logic first, before going to logic, we understood logic, right? Now how to approach it? Pseudocode. How how we can approach this problem? So we'll write pseudocode in 3 4 steps. First, the pseudocode is simple. In every pseudocode, first get the inputs from the user. Get the inputs from the user. Later, what you'll do? What is step 2? So for every variety of bulb in each room we can use different types of bulbs, which gives me less cost, right? For every variety of bulbs in each room, calculate the, what we have to calculate? Calculate the total number of hours the bulb should turn on. So total number of hours the bulb must on. The bulb should be on. Bulb to be on. And calculate the total number of bulbs required. Calculate, sir, why you are saying calculate the total number of bulbs required? They are already given. I will explain why we are calculating total number of bulbs required, because I said earlier that suppose there is a bulb warranty is 1500 hours suppose, and this 1500 hours is expired. before 2 years, this way after 1.5 years this is expired, so I need to replace with the same bulb, right? So at that time I need one more bulb. Are you getting my point? At that time the bulb I need is one more, two bulbs are required. Suppose it will run only, suppose 1500 hours, and I can run maximum of 6 months. Then I need how many bulbs? 4 bulbs, right? 4 bulbs I need. Why? Because for every 6 months I am going to change the bulb, because I have to run till 2 years. I have to run the bulb till 2 years. Before 2 years, if warranty expires, then I need to replace the bulb. So that's the logic here. Now finally calculate total cost. Calculate total cost. Don't worry, we'll solve the problem. Just try to understand pseudocode. Now by using these 3 bulbs, after calculating all total cost, now calculate the minimum of 3 bulbs. Calculate the minimum cost by comparing all 3 types of bulbs. By comparing all 3 types of bulbs. And finally the answer will be sum of minimum cost for all rooms, right? I hope this is clear for everyone, the pseudocode. Now if you have understood till now, we'll go to coding part, right? I hope everyone is clear with the logic. So I will explain just once more. How you can see there are 3 types of bulbs are available. So in input they have given bulb cost, warranty and running cost. Here you can see, and how many hours per day we have to run that bulbs, right? How many hours per day we are going to use that bulbs. I need to use that bulbs for 2 years, so there will be 730 days for 2 years. Now after that, suppose for kitchen, by using 3 types of bulbs which gives me less cost for 2 years, first I need to calculate. Same thing I have to calculate for hall 1. If you need, you can calculate the same thing for hall 2, hall 3 and bathroom. And after that what we have to do, sum of all minimum cost. Suppose here minimum cost is 3720. For this room minimum cost is 1130. We have to do sum of all this. That will be our output. Now this is our pseudocode. For quick recap, now we'll go to coding part. If you have any doubts in coding part, please let me know. Just a second. Now guys, we'll go to coding part. So I'll share my screen. I hope you guys can able to see my screen, right? Now I have two approaches. One is optimal one and one is brute force. First we'll do brute force. So in every code, first what we have to do, take the input from the user. Take input from the user. What I need utility package. So import utility package, or import only scanner is also enough. No need to import all the packages. Now after this, sorry guys. We'll start our coding. First take the input. So to take the input we need to create scanner class object. So scanner is equal to new scanner of system.in, right? Now guys, take for all bulbs take three types of input. So first input what I'm going to take for regular bulbs. I'm writing comments to clearly understand. For regular bulbs. Now take three types of input. In C1 the cost is scanner dot next in, right? Yes. After that take M1. We can declare all C1, M1, R1 in a single line. Scanner dot next in. And last one is int R1 running cost. So scanner dot next int. Okay, sorry for the disturbance guys. Now we won't stop. Now after for regular bulbs, after taking all three types of inputs, what we are going to do? Cost, warranty and running cost we have taken, right? So I'll copy this for remaining types of bulbs, right? This for regular bulbs, these are for CFL bulbs, and these are for LED bulb. Now change this variable name C2, M2, R2, C3, M3, R3. Now after taking input for all three bulbs, now what we have to take? H1. How many hours we are going to run every day for kitchen? So H1 equal to scanner dot next int, right? This for H1. Now copy this. Now you know this is for kitchen and this is for hall 1, this is for hall number 2 and this is for hall number 3 and this is for bathroom, right? And change the variables names H2, H3 and finally H4. Now just we have taken the inputs, right? Now after taking all the inputs, now go to logic part. Now go to logic part. In logic part, number of days. How many number of days? So int calculate days equal to, we know it, 2 into 365. So we can use final int because it's a constant, right? If we want we can write. Now after that I'll use simple variable. Initially I don't know what is total cost, right? So write total cost equal to 0 initially. right? Initially I don't know what is my total cost. Now write total cost plus equal to, now calculate. So in calculate, I want a minimum of all three bulbs, right? So to understand that logic, I would like to write one function which calculate the cost for all three bulbs. So the function is simple. I have to write now static. I'm going to return one integer and calculate cost. This is our function name. In calculate function, we will get three variables. What are the variables? First, bulb cost. So I'll write bulb cost. After that, what we have? Warranty. So for bulb cost, can I write shortcut? Yes. Bulb cost BC, and I'll write warranty WT. For warranty, I'll write WT, and for running cost, I'll write RC. These are shortcuts. And how many hours per day? I'll write only H, hours per day to run, or HRS, which is best. Right. After that, what we have to do? Total days. Total days TD. So in this way, I have written shortcut by explaining all. Now, first what we have to do? First, we have to find total users hours. First, we have to find total, how many hours we are going to use. So total users hours. So to calculate total users hours, what we have to do? How many hours I am going to run multiplied with total days TD, right? This many hours I am going to use that bulb. Now after that, we need to calculate how many bulbs are needed if the warranty expires. If warranty expire, how many bulbs are needed? How many bulbs are needed if warranty expires? So how to calculate? Right, bulb needed. So I'll write bulb I need. How many bulbs I need? So how many bulbs I need? First I need to calculate total users hours divided by warranty. So if total hours is 2000, warranty is 1500, then I need one more bulb, right? So based on that, we are going to write the logic. So what we have to do for that? For that, right, I want the seal value. Math dot seal of. Now convert this to double, and finally convert to integer. Suppose if the total users hours is 2000, warranty is 1500, then we need to replace one more bulb, right? So the output will get bulbs needed are 2. So suppose if bulbs increases, then the bulb buying cost also increases, right? So I can write bulb final cost. I'll write shortcut bulb final cost, BFC. Bulb final cost. What is bulb final cost? Number of bulb needed is multiplied with each bulb cost, BC, right? Now what is total running cost? Total running cost. Total running cost. What is total running cost? Running cost multiplied with total usage hours. Try to understand the logic how it is working. Finally, what we have to return the what is actual bulb final cost. So there will be suppose 2 bulbs, then that cost plus total running cost. total running cost. Try to understand the logic how it is working. If anyone have any doubts, please let me know. First, what we are calculating, how many hours we have to run. So every day how many hours and how many days are there. After that, how many bulbs I need. So if bulb increases 2 3, then cost also increases. So one bulb cost into bulbs needed. After that, total running cost. Total running cost is per hour how much we need to pay and how many hours are there. How many hours are there. After that, actually total bulb cost and total running cost we are going to return. And we are going to call that from this function. So I want math dot minimum of all three bulbs. So I'll call this function calculate cost, and I'll send some parameters. What are the parameters? Cost, warranty, running cost, and there are two more parameters, days. So before sending this, what parameters we have sent here? Okay, total days are sent. So send one more parameter, hours, h1, right? Now same thing calculate for bulb 2. So what do I need to do? Copy this. I will optimize this code, don't worry. Just see the brute force approach. C2, M2, R2, sorry, H1 only. So here I need between minimum of three values, right? So I can write math dot minimum of, first calculate this. Yes. After this give comma. Yes. Here I'll calculate minimum of three numbers. So other I have to calculate one more thing, calculate cost, and send this parameters. And right here for bulb 3. Now this is for 1. If there is any errors or not, we'll check. If there is any compile time error at line number 28, let's run and check. If there is no error, we'll copy paste. Yes, no errors guys. So copy paste this thing, copy paste total cost for all rooms. So for all rooms, how I'm going to calculate, what we need to modify for all rooms? H2. Only we need to modify H2. Here H3. H4. How to optimize using arrays, that too I will teach, don't worry. Those who know how to optimize this using arrays, well and good guys. Now I have calculated total cost, which is minimum, by comparing in all the rooms by using all types of bulbs. Right, after that, what do I need to do? Finally print our output, which is total cost. So print our output, which is total cost. Now let's try whether it is working or not by giving our inputs. You can see the inputs here. These are the inputs. Now the expected output is something 40,000. Let's check whether we are going to get that output or not. We got 21,700. Okay, why we got 21,000 means there are three bulbs there in that hall 1, hall 2, hall 3. We are going to use two bulbs, right? So multiply this with 2. I need to use two bulbs in these three rooms, so multiply with 2. They mentioned in the problem statement. Now run. If we get output near to 40,000, which is the correct answer. Yes, you can say 40,430, which is the right answer. This is brute force approach, not optimized one. Those want to take screenshot, you guys can take now and try to execute by yourself, right? The entire code in a single screen. Look the screen once and try to understand how we are taking the input. Input taking is very simple. How we are calculating total cost, and the logic part, how total cost is actually working. Later we'll run how to minimize it. Just a moment, guys. Now how to optimize this code. We'll learn how to optimize this code. So I'll take all this input. So let's check me. Okay, mic is turned on. Exactly fine. Now sir, why we are taking input this many variables, right? We can use 2D array, right? So I'm going to optimize this code. So I'll use, instead of that, I'll use 2D array. I'll manipulate this code. I'll use 2D array of for bulb types. So there are three bulbs. In each bulb we have three things. What is cost, warranty, and running cost. Bulb cost, warranty, and running cost. So I have taken 3 by 3 array. Now after taking 3 by 3 array, by using single for loop, I can take input. Just see how I'm going to take input. Int I equal to 0, y less than 3, I plus plus. So how to take the input? Bulbs of first in single row, ith row, 0th column, equal to scanner dot next int. This is for bulb cost, right? I'll copy the same thing and give for first column and for second column, and this is for warranty, and this is for bulb running cost. I hope I'm clear, right? No sir, we'll remove this code or comment out. So instead of this many lines, I have written one for loop. And sir, how to optimize this h1 h2? I'll create one array for this. Int, I'll write hours, or to clearly understand, usage hours, how many hours I'm going to use every day. Of I need to use for 5 members, right? Now after this, run for loop, which will run 5 times. Int I equal to 0, I less than 5 and I plus plus. After this, take the input in users hours of I equal to scanner dot next change. So now what we have done, instead of these 5 lines, I will comment out this and take an input in single array. So for to calculate how many bulbs are there in this room, we have written directly multiply with 2, and here instead of multiply with 1 we have to write, but no need with multiply with 1 because we are going to get same output if we multiply with 1. So what I'm going to do, I'll take one more array to check how many bulbs in each room. So bulbs in room, I'll write here in bulbs in each room. Bulbs in each room equal to how many are there. So instead of that, we can create directly 1D array and we can give directly. So 1, I need 1, 2, 2, 2 and 1. This is my structure. So for kitchen I need 1 bulb, for halls I need 2 bulbs, for bathroom I need 1 bulb. In that way I have written bulbs each room. Each room how many bulbs are there. And last thing is where you can, sir, for calculate this we have written this many total cost. Do we need to write 5 lines? No, right? In the single for loop we can write. So just try to manipulate this one. How we can manipulate? For int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So how can we write the logic? So let's check how we can write the logic. So I don't know initially what is minimum cost. I don't know what is initially minimum cost. So minimum cost equal to, I'm going to take some maximum value. So how to take maximum value in Java? Integer dot max. Integer dot max value will be there. Integer dot max value means we are going to take some maximum values, or by default we can take some 999 or 2000, or take 10, some 10,000. It's your choice. I'm going to take some max value. Now after taking max value, iterate over the each bulb. How to iterate over? Using for each loop. So in for each loop, take the array from the bulbs. Take the one row. So how to take one row? Take bulbs in bulb, right? Take the one row. After taking one row, calculate the minimum cost. So minimum cost equal to math dot minimum of the previous minimum cost is minimum, or else call the function some calculate cost. In calculate cost we'll send some parameters. What are the parameters? First, cost of the bulbs is where you can find bulb of 0, bulb of 1, bulb of 2, and two more parameters are usage hours. How many hours we need to use, and after that total days. So we no need total cost, we are not using, and comma days. So now what we have written, instead of writing these 5 lines, I have written one for loop, right? I'll comment out this. Now I have to write minimum cost. So do we need to do any manipulations in this? So here no need to manipulate anything, it's accurate. Let's check whether it is working or not. We need to get near to. Okay, there is error. What's the error? So semicolon is missing. Now run this code. Okay, here we are printing total cost, but what we have to print? So here we are not calculating total cost. So after finding minimum cost, we need to find total cost. So what I'm going to do, right? So I'll write here int total cost. Initially total cost I don't know 0. So after finding minimum cost, what I'm going to do? Total cost plus equal to minimum cost. I'm going to multiply with how many bulbs are there. So bulbs each room of 5. Yes, how many bulbs are there in that room? Based on that, total cost will work. And finally print our total cost. Yes, now run. Yes, here you can see we got the output 40,430, which is correct. So here what we have to learn, first we have to read the problem statement carefully, right? After reading the problem statement carefully, later try to understand how the inputs were given. And first initially while we writing, you won't get any idea how to minimize it. So first try to solve in brute force approach. So first I have taken in this way as input, right? C1, C2, M1, M2, R1, R2, R3, like that. Later what I have done, so instead of taking that, I can use for loop, right? In 2D array I can take together. Now later I understood, suppose uses hours. Okay, uses hours is fine. Instead of taking h1, h2, h5, directly use array, it will be very good. Now after that, suppose there will be a change bulbs each room, sometimes we need to take the output. So here it is constant, directly we can give bulbs of each room of 5 to calculate how many are there, and how to iterate over each row, and how we are calculating. Here you can see instead of using 5 lines and writing this much code, here it is completed the entire logic in a single line inside the for loop. And later we can't change anything in logic, finally the function will be same. If you want to reduce anything, you can try it. And always while solving, we can't get optimized approach, right? Same as we got now. First solving brute force approach, later try to optimize it. When you have the time, later try to optimize the code. Because nowadays if I give enough time to execute, anyone can execute the code, anyone. Let those who know basics of coding also, if I give enough time, he will execute the code. Suppose some person don't know what is Fibonacci series, so some person who knows Fibonacci series, he will take maximum of suppose 2 minutes. Who don't know, he will take might be 20 minutes. But he can do it, right? He can do it because time matters, and the time complexity matters in as compared to today's generation. We know that we are using the devices, some we have to serve from the server so many devices, crores of devices at once. So to serve that many devices, we need the code which takes very less time, right? Suppose if I'm searching Google something, I have to get in milliseconds. If I'm not getting the response from the Google in milliseconds, I'm not going to use Google, right? So we are using Instagram also. Why? Because we'll get reels very instantly, right? It won't take much time to load, it will respond very fast. So back end what's happening we don't know, but it's working very fast, right? So you can think the Instagram is serving crores of people, YouTube is given service to crores of people. How much less time it's consuming? Means how the code they have written serve this many members, and still taking in milliseconds, still working in milliseconds. It won't take not even 1 second, very milliseconds it will do the work. Because optimization, code optimization. Without code optimization, no one will use any platform, no one will use, guys, believe me. So what we have to do, first try to solve in brute force approach, later try to solve the same thing in optimized way. Because nowadays time complexity matters a lot. So if you are preparing for an interview, if you solve in both the approaches, brute force approach, later optimized approach, the interview will get very good opinion on you. There is major 99% of possibility that the interviewer is going to select you. Why? Because you have given the priority for time complexity. uh, as compared to time and space complexity, we won't give much preference to space complexity. Why? Because we know space is very cheap nowadays. We can get, suppose you want 500 GB of hard disk, you can get in only 2000 rupees max. So space is very cheap nowadays. The thing matters is time. So we need to save the time of every user who using your application. So for that, try to learn code optimization. Code optimization means not only I'm saying the dead, not code optimization is not only writing the code in less number of lines, writing the code which takes the execution time very less, execution time, not the number of lines you have written. Are you getting my point? So here if you check in this brute force approach and optimal approach, there won't be much difference you can find, but here we saved space complexity, but we need time complexity. Here we might not reduce the time complexity, but somehow we can try. I hope the problem statement is clear for everyone. If anyone having any doubts, please let me know. Thank you guys for listening my session. You guys have a great future ahead. Thank you. Okay. One more thing is we'll come with more new problems if possible next week or a few other sessions. Thank you. You guys can leave now.